Hi, continuation of the last two videos. Fair use and all that, educational purposes. I know it only applies to the person, and I'm not a person, I'm a man, but still gotta say these things. We've already done this one on my circular argument. We're on hasty generalisation, aren't we? Hasty generalisations are general statements without sufficient evidence to support them. They are general claims too hastily made, hence they commit some sort of illicit assumption, stereotyping, unwarranted conclusion, overstatement, or exaggeration. Normally we generalise without any problem. We make general statements all the time. I like going to the park. Democrats disagree with Republicans. Not that politics has anything to do with it anyway, it's all bullshit anyway, so it's faster to drive to work than to walk. Or everyone mourned the loss of Harambe the gorilla. I don't know, I didn't, so that is a generalisation. Why could it say everyone mourned the loss of Harambe the gorilla? I don't even know who Harambe the gorilla is. So I didn't mourn the loss of Harambe the gorilla because I didn't know that Harambe the gorilla existed. So that's wrong there anyway, because everyone mourned. No, everyone didn't mourn, because I didn't even know that gorilla existed, so I didn't mourn. Maybe if I knew the gorilla existed, I might have gone, oh, well, I feel bad for the gorilla for dying, you know what I mean? But, and like this bit here about stereotyping and illicit assumptions and stereotyping and stuff like that, unwarranted conclusion and overstatement or exaggeration, we get that all the time from these trolls and from anyone that we talk about this subject with. The stereotyping you, pigeonhole you in, putting you under an umbrella and that, trying to put you in groups and stuff like that. Yeah. Indeed, the above phrase, all the time, is a generalisation. We aren't all the time making these statements. Well, yeah, I missed that one. Yeah. Yep. We take breaks to do other things like eat, sleep, and breathe. These general statements aren't addressing every case every time. They are speaking generally. And generally speaking, they are true. Sometimes you don't enjoy going to the park. Sometimes Democrats and Republicans agree. Yeah, because they're pushing agendas, that's why. Sometimes driving to work can be slower than walking if the roads are all shut down or there's congestion. Traffic jams. For a Harambe procession. Yeah. Hasty generalisation may be the most common logical fallacy because there is no single agreed upon measure for sufficient evidence. In one example, enough to prove the claim that Apple computers are the most expensive computer brand. What about 12 examples? What about if 37 out of 50 Apple computers were more expensive than comparable models from other brands? There's no set rule for what constitutes enough evidence in this case. It might be possible to find reasonable comparison and prove that claim is true or false, but in other cases there's no clear way to support the claim without resorting to guesswork. The means of measuring evidence can change according to the kind of claim you are making, whether it's in philosophy or in the sciences, or in a political debate, or in discussion house rules for using the kitchen. Discussing house rules for using the kitchen, A much safer claim is that Apple computers are more expensive than many other computer brands. Meanwhile, we do well to avoid treating general statements like they are anything more than generalisations, even if it were generally true that women are bad drivers. Well, I wouldn't say that. I don't agree with that. And I'm not saying they are. Well, I'm not saying they are, because it's not like I said, I'm just reading what's here, so... It said there's still plenty of women who are good drivers, there is. And those cases just aren't covered with that general statement, even if it were true. In many cases, in my case, this individual's wife is a better driver than he is. So I do well not to generalise too widely. I don't know, I don't drive. And neither does my wife, I've never drove. I don't intend to, I don't want to. Simple way to avoid hasty generalisations is to add qualifiers like sometimes, maybe, often, or it seems to be the case that. When we don't guard against hasty generalisations, we risk stereotyping, sexism, racism, or simple incorrectness. But with the right qualifiers, we can often make a hasty generalisation into a responsible and credible claim. Your turn. Which of the following is a hasty generalisation? Some people vote without seriously weighing the merits of the candidate. Not that it really matters, because your vote doesn't count. They're not going to let people like us and the great unwashed decide on what's going to happen. It's up to them what they want to happen, pushing their agendas to keep them where they are. Yeah. People nowadays only vote with their emotions instead of their brains. And you decide which one you think is going to be the correct one. Like I said, I'll go through all the examples in another video when I've finished these videos, and we will reveal the correct answers. And only a Batman hasty generalisation. I'll leave a link. Red herring. Ignoratio elenchi. A red herring is a distraction from the argument, typically with some sentiment that seems to be relevant but isn't really on topic. Typically, the distraction sounds relevant but isn't quite on topic. This tactic is common when someone doesn't like the current topic and wants to detour into something else instead. So we get this a lot as well with these discussions we're having and these trolls and stuff like that. The video's about a certain thing, or you're talking to somebody about a certain thing, and they go off into, you know what I mean, something else. It's like, could be about trying to, like, an observation, so it's showing that there's no curvature, or something like that, or the physics of water, or whatever, yeah? And they'll go, but look at the sky, look at the moon, look at the stars, look at the sun. Why does the sun do this? Why does the moon do this? Why does the stars do that? Well, that's a red herring. It's a distraction. You're trying to take it away from the argument. Yeah? Looking at the sky doesn't give you proof of the shape of the earth. Like I said, we don't live in the sky. We live here on earth. You've got to measure the earth, not the sky. The sky, it's just visibles in the sky. You don't know what they are. You've never been to them. You have to use the logical fallacy of appeal to authority to believe what you're told. That's all what they are. Yeah? You don't know what they are. You believe what some perceived authority tells you what they are. You don't know if that authority's got an agenda behind what they're doing, or monetary gain, or whatever else. Yeah, which makes it a fallacious appeal to authority. Yeah. Besides, it doesn't show you what the shape of the earth is. Saying that all the things in the sky, all the moon looks round. Well, it might look round. Doesn't mean it's a sphere, though, does it? Yeah? You don't see it in 3 dimension. You only see it in 2. Yeah? Same with the sun. You look up at the sun, you don't see it in 3D. You see a 2-dimensional disc in front of you with a little bit of curve around the edges. Yeah? You don't know, you can't see around the back of that, or around the side of that. Yeah? So you can't jump to that conclusion that it's a sphere when you don't see it as a sphere. Yeah? That's fallacious. Yeah? And it's like the example that has been used so many times, and it's so apt, this example. It's like saying, well, all the planets are spherical, or roughly spherical, so the Earth must be. What makes the Earth any different? Well, number one, space isn't what we're told it is anyway, right? But that's like saying all the pool balls on a pool table are spherical, right? The balls are spherical. That must mean the table's spherical then, yeah? According to your reasoning, yeah? I think I had what somebody once, when I said that to them, they says, oh yeah, but don't forget, that the pool balls and the pool table are man-made. The planets and the sun and the moon are not man-made. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. It's fallacious reasoning. You can't say that. Besides, you need to define what you mean by it when you say, oh, the earth is round. What do you mean by the earth is round? Using the word round instead of the word spherical. Yeah? Like I said before, a coin is round, but it's not a ball, it's not spherical, or even an oblate spheroid or pear-shaped. Yeah? A hula hoop is round. A donut is round. Yeah? They're not spherical, are they? So you need to stop using the word, oh, the earth is round. You need to define what you mean by round. What do you mean? Define your words. Otherwise that's fallacious as well. There we go. I think we've read that. Distraction from the argument typically with some sentiment that seems to be relevant but isn't really on topic. Typically distraction sounds relevant but isn't quite on topic. This tactic is common when someone doesn't like the current topic, wants to detour into something else instead, something easier or safer to address. Red herrings are typically related to the issue in question but aren't quite relevant enough to be helpful. Instead of clarifying and focusing, they confuse and distract. The phrase red herring refers to a kippered herring, salted herring fish, which was reddish-brown in colour and quite pungent. According to legend, this aroma was so strong and delectable to dogs that it served as a good training device for testing how well a hunting dog could track a scent without getting distracted. Dogs aren't generally used for hunting fish, so a red herring is a distraction from what he is supposed to be hunting. Red herrings can be difficult to identify because it's not always clear how different topics relate. A side topic may be used in a relevant way, or in an irrelevant way, in the big meaty disagreements of our day. There are usually a lot of layers involved, with different subtopics weaving into them. We can guard against the red herring fallacy by clarifying how our part of the conversation is relevant to the core topic. Which of the following examples is a red herring fallacy? My wife wants to talk about cleaning out the garage, so I asked her what she wants to do with our patio furniture. Now she's shopping for new patio furniture and not bothering me about the garage. Example 2. My wife wants to talk about cleaning out the garage, so I asked her what she wants to do with the patio furniture. It's just sitting in the garage taking up space. Like I said, I'll do a thing after and we'll point out which ones are true and which ones are false, but if you know, leave a comment. I'm going to do this quick tu quo quo fallacy. Then I'm going to do another video after. The tu quo quo, Latin for you too, is also called the appeal to hypocrisy, because it distracts from the argument by pointing out hypocrisy in the opponent. This tactic doesn't solve the problem or prove one's point, because even hypocrites can tell the truth. Focusing on the other person's hypocrisy is a diversionary tactic. In this way, the tu quo quo typically deflects criticism away from oneself by accusing the other person of the same problem. Individual of the same problem. Or something comparable. If Jack says, maybe I committed a little adultery, but so did you, Jason, Jack is trying to diminish his responsibility of or defend his actions by distributing blame to other people or other individuals. But no one else's guilt excuses his own guilt. No matter who else is guilty, Jack is still an adulterer. The tu quo quo fallacy is an attempt to divert blame, but it really only distracts from the initial problem. To be clear, however, it isn't a fallacy to simply point out hypocrisy where it occurs. For example, Jack may say, yes, I committed adultery. Jill committed adultery. Lots of us did. But I'm still responsible for my mistakes. In this example, Jack isn't defending himself or excusing his behaviour. He's admitting his part within a larger problem. The hypocrisy claim becomes a fallacy only when the arguer uses some apparent hypocrisy to neutralise criticism and distract from the issue. Which of the following is a tu quo fallacy? But Dad, I know you smoked when you were my age, so how can you tell me not to do it? Son, yes, I smoked when I was your age. It was dumb then and it's dumb now. That's why I forbid you to smoke, chew or vape, or use nicotine gum, or whatever you kids do with tobacco these days. Like I said, we'll do a video on what the correct ones are later. That's it for this one. Next one will be the casual fallacy. Okay, thank you.